Hi, fifth grade friends. It's Miss Wanda from Waterfront Botanical Gardens, and today I'm doing the Be a Community Problem Solver activity from the fifth grade choice board. Boys and girls, happy Earth Day. Today I'm doing my part by going through my garbage and pulling out some things that I know don't have to go to a landfill. Instead, they can go and be recycled. So here are some things I found in my trash today that I know can be recycled. I've got an old glass jar that had some spaghetti sauce in it. I washed it out really good. I know that can be recycled. Okay. Also, this plastic container used to have some strawberries in there. I'm all out of strawberries, which means I need to go to the grocery again. But we're going to take this plastic container. We're going to make sure it gets recycled as well. An aluminum can. That can be recycled. Some newspaper or some newspaper ads. Putting that into my bin as well. And finally, this cardboard cereal box. That can definitely be recycled. We're going to put that right here. Boys and girls, I've noticed recently that not everyone I know does as good of a job at recycling as I do. And I was hoping that today we could start an action plan to help encourage our community members, people we know, to do a better job at making sure that the things that can be recycled do get recycled. So the first thing I want to talk about today is where does garbage go? So you probably at your house or your apartment or wherever you live, you take your garbage and you either put that in a trash can or you put it in the dumpster that's at your apartment complex. And then the garbage company comes and picks up that garbage, and they drive a big truck and they dump the garbage into their truck, and then they take that garbage where it goes. So where do they take that garbage? What is that place called? It is called a landfill. So they take it to a landfill. Sometimes people call the landfill the dump. But what is a dump? What does that really look like? Well, boys and girls, a landfill is usually a place in the earth, on our planet, where there's like a hole dug into the earth. And that hole is usually lined with clay and plastic. And then the garbage is put into that hole. And then more clay and soil are put on top of it, and it kind of seals the garbage in. And then they put more garbage on top of that, and they do the same thing, and then they just sort of pile the garbage up. Now, when garbage gets put into a landfill and it gets sealed up in the way that we do it, that garbage, it doesn't get a lot of air to it, doesn't get a lot of oxygen to it, so that garbage doesn't break down and decompose. It just sort of stays there forever. Did you know that Waterfront Botanical Gardens used to be a landfill? So a long time ago, where we are building the gardens right now, there used to be a landfill where people dumped their garbage. And that garbage that was put into the ground didn't really go anywhere because it wasn't really able to break down. And still today, occasionally when we're digging a really deep hole to put a tree in, we might find some garbage that's still around, like something that was made out of plastic or something that was made out of glass. So landfill is a hole in the ground where garbage is put. So if we don't put our garbage in our garbage container, we hopefully are putting it in our recycle container. And our recyclable items are taken to a recycling center where they are taken and they are broken down into new materials that can be made into new things. So they take something old, like our old cardboard boxes or our old glass jars, and they're going to take that and they're going to break it down and they're going to make something new out of it. Now there's one more place that people put garbage sometimes. It's not in the garbage can to go to the dump or the landfill. It's not in the recycling container. Sometimes people throw their garbage on the ground. And that is the worst place you can put your garbage, because if you just leave it on the ground, it's just going to sit there. Not only is it not going to look very pretty for your neighbors or for you, it's going to make it look pretty ugly. And also, it's going to be pretty harmful because animals could eat that garbage or get stuck in that garbage, and that can hurt them or make them very, very sick. So we want to make sure that we're definitely not throwing our garbage or trash on the ground. All right, boys and girls, as we start off today, you can use your PDF worksheet that we created for you for your action plan on how to encourage our neighbors to be better at recycling. And we're going to start off our list with what can be recycled. Pretty simple. Let's just list some of the things that we put into my recycled bin today. One of the things we listed was a glass jar. So glass can be recycled. Okay, glass. Also plastic. Remember my plastic strawberry container. I'm going to get my garbage can out of the way, my recycle bin, excuse me, out of the way so you guys can see. Glass, plastic, we had some paper. That aluminum pop can. And then finally that cardboard box. Those are all things that can be recycled. But why do we recycle? Why do we go to all this trouble of sorting out our cardboard and our paper and our glass and our plastic instead of just letting it go to the dump or the landfill and piling up? Now, if you think about it, like what I said earlier, when we put things into the landfill, those holes in the ground, they kind of get sealed off, and that garbage never breaks down, it never decomposes, it just sort of stays there forever, which means as we create more garbage, we have to create more space to throw away our garbage, and our garbage just starts to pile up in landfills and doesn't really go anywhere. Even if we took plastic and glass and we threw it on the ground as litter, which you better not do that, litter bugs, you better not throw your garbage on the ground. But even if we did throw our garbage on the ground as litter, it takes hundreds, if not thousands of years for plastics and glass to break down, okay? So those materials, they just stick around on our planet forever. And sometimes, again, they get put into landfill. Sometimes they're left on the ground. Sometimes they get put into the river, boys and girls, the Ohio River, and they float on down and they get all the way to the ocean. And that can even affect animals in the ocean too. So the reason we recycle is because we don't want litter all over the planet. We don't want to live in a world where there's just garbage piled up everywhere in landfills and on the ground. We want to take those materials that we've already made, break them down, and make something new instead of continuing to create new materials and make new things that will just be thrown on the ground or thrown in the garbage. So why do we recycle? To create new materials from old, and that prevents us from having to use resources means, boys and girls, things that you can use, and a natural resource is something on the planet that we as humans use. So natural resources like water and energy, natural resources, it prevents us from having to use resources to make new things or make new materials. Okay? So my last question here on my workboard today asks reasons why people don't recycle. And I'm not trying to call anybody out because recycling, sometimes it can be kind of confusing or kind of complicated. But let's just kind of think for a second. What are some reasons why our neighbors or people in our community might not recycle? The first one, off the bat, that I like to think about because I grew up in South Louisville where we did not have recycling pickup. So there are parts of the city that do have recycling pickup. You have a tub maybe at your house. Some of you might, that you put your recycling into and the city comes and picks up the recycling and takes it. There are some parts of the city in Louisville where they don't have recycling pickup. So places why people, or reasons why people don't recycle, maybe they don't have recycling pickup. Now, just because the recycling doesn't get picked up at your house doesn't mean there's not places in our city where you can take your recycling to, and hopefully some of you at home, like me, take your recycling to a place where it can be recycled, one of the drop-off spots that Metro Louisville provides for us. So even if you don't have pickup, there's still places where you can take your recycling, but some people don't want to do that extra step. So when people don't want to really, some people like that, I just don't have time. I just can't do it. It's too much work. We say that sometimes people can be lazy or maybe they don't care enough. Okay, so maybe they're just like, I just can't do it. It's just too much work. And maybe they're just like, oh, excuse me, computer. Maybe they're just like, I don't really care about the recycling. I'm just gonna put it in the garbage and have the garbage truck come and take it. Maybe they just don't care. So that's a possibility. So part of your action plan is to how do we get people to care more or to be less lazy? Or how do we educate our friends in our community how they can take their recycling to a recycling drop-off spot if they don't have pickup? Another reason why people don't recycle, let's see, maybe they just don't know what is recyclable. You know, boys and girls, most of what we throw away, most of the things that we put into the garbage can are recyclable. A very large percentage of the things that get put into a landfill could have actually been recycled in the first place. But a lot of times people just don't know that what they are throwing away can actually be recycled. So part of your action plan should be to how to teach people what to recycle or what needs to be recycled, okay? So these are some reasons why people don't recycle. I bet you can probably think of a few more. Maybe you can add to the list of things that can be recycled or why we recycle. Hopefully you guys can do some research on that. We'd love to hear from you, boys and girls, and I'm sure your teachers would too. When you're done with your activity today, be sure to load it onto Google Classroom, and you can share it on our social media with us because we'd like to see your projects too. Have a good day, stay safe, and stay curious.